Hey everybody, we are back to recap the Kentucky Louisville basketball game. The final score was 93 Kentucky to 85 Louisville, 8-point win in Rupp Arena. The game was absolutely epic. I was at the game myself. I had boots on ground, and you couldn't have asked anything more from the Rupp crowd. Couldn't have asked anything more from the fans. Couldn't have asked of any better production by the media team pregame. Um, like literally from front to end, it was a great show. Even every single timeout or every halftime, they had a show or entertainment for the crowd to keep the fans in the game, and the crowd was epic. My last video was actually criticizing Rupp, and Kentucky fans, you answered me above and beyond. The atmosphere at the Louisville game was fantastic, and I can tell that our team felt that. Right? There was no point in the game in which our team felt like, oh, we have to just drag the crowd along with us, or hey, we're out here by ourselves. It was literally like the Kentucky basketball team being pushed by the crowd. Every time that our team got on defense, our crowd got loud. We were cheering. We were disrupting the Louisville players. And then every time we got on offense, if we made a bucket or had a great pass or just anything that was excellent, our crowd was like literally everybody was standing up, cheering, yelling. So it was a great experience. It was one of my favorite Kentucky basketball games that I've been to, and I've been to 75 plus Kentucky basketball games. We are going to go ahead and break down a couple takeaways from the Kentucky game. The first piece is going to be the little skirmish that Kentucky and Louisville had on the sidelines. This is just beautiful to see. That like has always defined Kentucky and Louisville basketball is like we will always physically get in front of them or physically have some sort of altercation with them. And actually pregame when our team was running out, Louisville's basketball team waited to run out so that they could run through our line. And our guys didn't do anything. We didn't say anything. We didn't even react to it. I'm not sure that they knew that they were getting disrespected, but then later in the game, we were able to set the tone. We let those guys know what it was. And then even when we got in the skirmish, all of our guys were out there. But my favorite thing about the skirmish to see was Mark Pope literally ran over in the middle of the huddle. He got in the middle of the skirmish and he was just like pushing our guys away. But it was just cool to see because he's a former player. He's not afraid to get in the middle of there. Coach Pope is like 6'8" or 6'9", so he's not scared to be in the middle of that. But it was all of our dogs, all of Kentucky's dogs were in the middle of the skirmish. Lamont Butler, Ortega, Brandon Garrison, Kobe Brea, and Mark Pope. Now, what I will mention is that when Kentucky and Louisville got into a skirmish, Jackson Robinson was right there, and the first thing that he did was step backwards, and he never got involved. He didn't do anything. He didn't want to touch anybody. He didn't want to say anything to anybody. He was just kind of watching from a distance. And I'm not saying that he should have gone in there and thrown haymakers, but it was interesting to see that his first reaction when his teammates got into an altercation was just to step back, um, kind of watch from the sidelines, I'll say. Otega Owe was fantastic. His energy was fantastic. I mean, he was cutting and he was dunking the ball so hard. Every time Otega dunked the ball, the crowd was like screaming, like the loudest that Rupp has ever been. So Otega played a huge part in like keeping the energy of the game up because like I think it was 2 minutes into the game, he literally dunked on somebody, came down the lane and punched it. It was great to see. I loved seeing that. Otega Owe, I love you, Double O. Lamont Butler played absolutely out of his mind. Lamont Butler had 33 points and he didn't miss a shot from the field. Oh, by the way, he's been out for a couple weeks and this was his first game back with no practices or anything. The kid is a natural hooper. He was ready to go for a rivalry game. And we know about Lamont Butler that he's a gamer. In San Diego State, he hit the game winner for that team that made the big run. So he's not afraid of the big moment. And not only is he not afraid of it, but he's been there before and he's excelled. Lamont Butler is going to be huge for this team, and I can't wait to see what he does in March because he truly has that gene. Coach Mark Pope has literally changed Kentucky basketball. The way that the fans show up to the game and interact with the team is completely different than it has been the last few years with the John Calipari era. And you can kind of just feel because that's because the fan base believes in him. We believe in the future of the program. And that crowd is like, I'll be damned if I'm not here to support Coach Pope. There was a lady who stood up. She was a few rows behind me, but she stood up and screamed the whole game. She didn't care what anybody said, but she was bought into that game. And that's what we need our Kentucky fans to be. Coach Mark Pope is changing so much. We love the way the team's playing. I believe in this team for March, and the fan base is going to be right there to support you guys all the way through.